Hey man,
Oh, hey man, what's up?
so you know that app that I've been working on for the past 4 months? Well, I finally finished it and I released it onto the App Store. And I was just wondering if you can install it.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I actually just released an app onto the App Store too, so we can do kind of like a download for download.
What, really? How long did it take to develop?
Oh yeah, it actually took me only a week to make because of the really fast app development process.
Hello, my name is William Carter from Let's Just Code. And if you're not already familiar with me or the whole entire brand in general, we help people learn iOS development as fast as possible because we feel that the learning phase sucks because you always want to just go and make your own apps. So we say cut that out as fast as possible. So let's get right into the actual content. Now, before I actually get into this video, I'm assuming that you already know how to make apps, you already learned iOS development, and if you haven't, there's actually a free mini course in the description. I'll talk about it more later on, but you can go and pick that up 100% free to actually learn if you're just starting up. I think it's really important to have a really good app development process because it's going to save you so much time in the future. And if you're getting hang of it, you're making better quality apps and you're making them faster in total. So the first thing that you actually want to do is have market research done. All right, now this is actually really important because of course you can release any app onto the App Store, but if you don't do the research to see which apps have potential, which apps are actually going to do good on the App Store, you should definitely consider doing market research before even creating the app. And by the way, if you have an app idea and you're not sure if you should actually create it, I actually have another video up over here or over here, I forget which side it is, that actually shows you how to validate your app idea to make sure it's ready before actually creating it and wasting a whole bunch of time if the idea was bad in the first place. But in my opinion, the first thing that you should do in market research is look for similar apps. So you can just look them up on the App Store, look them up online, look them up on Reddit, and see what your competitors are, see what they're doing good, see what they're doing bad, and just see how popular their apps are doing and if that idea is actually good in the first place and if there's anything that you can actually improve on, because if you're releasing a new app onto the App Store but there's a bunch of apps just like it, then it would actually be pretty hard to outdo them and get some downloads of your own. Also, when you're looking for other apps, you can actually see some similarities. Maybe they have some cool features that you didn't really think about that you'd want to bring into your app, and it just shows you an app creator that actually has created the process and made a successful app, so you don't have to make the same mistakes they did by adding certain features that may or may not work. You know which ones work because you see the reviews on your competitor's app and you see what works and see what doesn't work. But also, I encourage you to innovate and create new ideas for your application. I'm not going to go too in depth in the market research because again, I have another video right over here that you can actually go and watch and get a little more in depth in market research. So let's actually go to the second step that you want to do is actually sketch the application out. This would be sketching little phones, maybe on a notepad, maybe on a digital canvas or something like that, just to see what the app's going to look like, what the design's going to look like, what the vibe's like, what the feel is like before you actually spend a lot of time developing the app and be like, oh my gosh, this wasn't the design that I actually wanted. It doesn't work well and I just spent so much time programming and designing it that I just wasted all that time for nothing. This is because designing it digitally with no actually coding and no actual constraints on your views, if you're new to iOS development, constraints basically show the size and the location of different objects. So a button would be this big on the screen or this big on the screen, stuff like that. And you really do not want to deal with that when you're just designing how your application is going to look like, which buttons go where, and how it's all going to feel and interact. So now that you have a design that you like, that you sketched out with all the buttons in the right places, you can move on to step 3, and that's actually building the frame of your application. Now, basically what the frame is a really ugly version of your app, but still with all of the same functionality. So say in your design, you have a button that's really pink, it's rounded and stuff like that. In the frame of your app, it would just be a normal button, maybe not the right size. This will get everything working inside of your application. So after you build the frame, this is doing all the coding for the buttons, the view controllers, and everything like that. And the reason why I don't like designing it first is because this process, the coding and stuff like that, actually takes the longest amount of time, and you don't want anything disturbing it, like different constraints that you have to worry about, different button sizes that maybe aren't fitting properly, etc. So you're almost done, but before I get to the last step, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the free mini course. So if you haven't started learning yet, or maybe you're learning but you're stuck, there's actually a mini course to how to learn iOS development in under a month. It has some really great tips and actually teaches you how to learn fast, which is essential when you're actually trying to learn it in under a month. So just pick up the mini course. It's completely free, no charge whatsoever, and we're going to get into the last and final step. So the final step is actually to style your application. Now you have the whole entire frame of your app built, so the app works perfectly good. You can release it onto the App Store if you wanted to, but you of course want to design your application to make it look good, make the user experience good. Now the reason why I saved this for the last is because you have your whole app looking really good, and you can just spend a little time. It's a little fun to do this, to actually design your application, add the images, add the stuff that you didn't have to worry about before when actually coding your application. Then you can pop all of the images, the assets, the rounding, all the stuff into your app. This will make your app look super professional, and it actually finishes the application process. So now you're ready to release it onto the App Store. I know this was really quick, but honestly, if you follow these steps, you can actually save a decent amount of time of just going in with no strategy whatsoever in building the apps that you want to make. So definitely follow this 4-step process and make your apps good, but also make them fast. I just want to give another little reminder, there's a free mini course in the description. So that just about does it for the video. I hope you got some value out of it. I hope you can take some time off your app development process and actually make your apps better and more enjoyable to make. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.